Now you two are no strangers to having major audiences in your own way. But typically you interact through your audiences through the internet, across a screen, having that barrier. Sorry, let me get out of your way then. Fine, stare each other down. Let's go. But no, my question to you, Sagar, is while you can't necessarily get it done for Team India, you can wipe that little smirk off that man's face. So how do you intend to do it?
Right now I'm just staring into his soul, and there's nothing to lose. Let's go.
All right. Well, Levy, I did take a moment to watch some of your content this week leading up to the event, and you were talking a little bit about prep and going through some of your previous matches here with Sagar. And you said, well, look, if I don't prep and I don't know what I'm going to do, there's no way he can counter me. Is that what you're coming in with, or do you have a secret strategy in the bank?
I still don't know my first move, and I won't know it until my hand decides it for me. I would even let Sagar pick my first move, but... Now
the gauntlet's been thrown, and I'm going to take my own liberties to say that we'll allow it if you choose to accept, but that is entirely on you. Do you want to pick his first move or no?
I think I'll let the crowd decide what the first move should be.
Okay. Get loud! Are you hearing one move above the rest?
I do. I think you will be entertained, and also you all look great tonight. Thank you for all your support, and...
All right, y'all. Two of the most known figures in the chess world, Sagar Shah and Levy Rozman. Gentlemen, take your positions, and best of luck!
Levy, are you ready? Sagar, are you ready? Start White's clock.
And the most exciting game of this, one of the most exciting, has started, and the first move, bird's opening, pawn to f4.
Now, as I take my seats, I'm coming in just as a few moves have been made. Levy had said he was willing to let Sagar make the first move for him. Then it was turned to the audience. What did we land on there, and how do you guys feel like it kind of shakes up the game from the get-go?
For Levy, he played f4, and maybe it's because there's going to be a new Gotham course and exposed. That's the golden pawn in chess. f2 and f7 here, because it keeps the king safe.
Yeah, pawn to f4, it opens the door. And now your king is in a very fragile position for the remainder of the game until you can find a way to get it to safety.
And the crowd is going crazy because both these players, you know, they've seen so many of their videos online. Here, they get to see them playing in front of each other. f4, bird's opening played by him. Both of them very, very serious. And the position has now transformed into some sort of a stone wall structure. Robert, have you heard of this term, stone wall?
You know, it's funny because I was not expecting this from Levy. And maybe it's because USA's won the match that he feels like he can get away with anything. But I do think that Levy cares. And I really think he wants to show Sagar who's the boss in the YouTube world.
No, I think absolutely both of these players care deeply about getting the victory for their team, especially in a brand new event, brand new structure, brand new format. Now, I do know that these players have a decent amount of history, too, when it comes to games, primarily online. But like I said, I had the privilege of watching some of Levy's content leading up to this event, and he actually went through each of their matchups. It's good to see him be so critical of the mistakes that he made in those matchups. But my curiosity is always, you know, how much are these guys, how much do you as chess players typically remember and bring into repeat matchups against opponents in terms of styles, tendencies, maybe, again, weaknesses that I can attack? You know, like, how do you build that in your brain when maybe you've played 4 times, but it's been over the course of 6 years.
Yeah, sometimes you actually have to throw the history out the window because even if you've won all 4 games, you're a new player. And I think players change with the seasons. It's not like, some players, I have to say, do play the same opening over and over again because they've studied it so in depth. Others, they're moving targets. Today, you're going to get e4 on the first move. Tomorrow, d4. And guess what happens next? Nobody knows, including, as Levy said, himself. So Harshit, I mean, you want to be a moving target at this high level.
Absolutely, and he goes for this move pawn to f4 completely unpredicted. And now, 10 moves later in the game, he seems to have a good position from the opening, which just goes to tell you that sometimes if you know where the pieces belong, no matter what first move you make, you can still get good position.
Yeah, and by the same token, opponent makes an improper or, maybe not the best opening move. You have to know how to punish it, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, I can tell you this, I wouldn't know how to punish f4.
No, I mean, it's not something that's that bad. It's just usually not advised because it gets, especially beginners, in trouble on the dark squares. But in this particular game, we have that stone wall structure that Harshit was mentioning. It means that central breaks are hard to come by for Sagar, and he just played a move. It looks like a capture. He exchanged knights. I mean, Levy is definitely going to capture towards the center, and after this, we're going to see some pressure on the queen side. I mean, Levy does have the initiative right now. He's gotten away with the opening.
Fans in the crowd getting a handful of that popcorn, enjoying the show. You'll love to see the smiles on the faces here. And again, everybody continues to get loud, supporting both of their countries and their players.
And look at these fans chanting, "Let's go India, let's go." Sagar Shah, will he bring India the first point?
And queen comes out to defend against the threat that his opposing queen was looking for. So do we take the trade? That now becomes the question.
You know, it's funny because normally when I commentate, I'm not biased at all. Here, I've been rooting for Team USA from the start.
True.
And right now, I'm rooting for a draw. And I typically don't say that in chess. But you know what? I want some quicker time controls. I want the mayhem because the game, yes, is a draw. That means they start over, 5 minutes per side. Can't repeat this bird's opening, and we're going to have fun with it.
And that's a good point. I would like to see these guys play 3 games. Let's go to 5. Let's go to 1.
I mean, if I was Sagar or Levy right now, I would love to press that claim button and be like, my opponent is playing too bad.
They would be the 2 guys to think of something like that. So, only a few minutes off the clock for both players. Plenty of chess to be played. Maybe we will get a bit of a showman moment like that.
And you ask this question, does White want to allow this trade of queens? If Black takes the queen on b3, it will allow the White pawn to capture towards the center. You always mentioned that the pawns should capture towards the center, and that's a very important point because pawns in the center are much more valuable in the middle game than they are in the end game.
Okay, so now it's onus on Sagar to decide, do I want to go for that trade? Am I giving my opponent an excuse to centralize or move that pawn a little bit closer to the center of the board? And ultimately, is that something I want to do?
I think that Sagar at this stage, he's reacting for the most part because Levy has made a move, a developing move with the bishop, putting pressure on this pawn on e7. The queen left the defense of that square. So I think for Sagar, the crowd is really, they're going crazy because Levy's hyping him up.
Levy's hyping him up, man. He's like, it's your time to think. I'm going to get the crowd loud. I'm going to make it difficult for you to think. And that's another piece of all of this. How do you play the crowd? How do you involve them into it?
Sagar Bhai is so serious, but let's go. Sagar Bhai, you have to win somehow.
I feel like he has to trade the queens off in Sagar's position I'm talking about because where else does my queen go? I'm stuck there for the eternity of the game if I don't choose to trade off.
That's right, because Black is not fully developed, right? This rook and knight, they're stuck at home. And I think that if White takes in d5, the issue is forced. Because after pawn takes d5, the queen is also threatening to capture again. So that would encourage Sagar to trade queens. But h3, that's a tepid move. I don't love that. It's a bit slow. White is still better. But I feel like, for Levy, that if he plays too many of these moves, he could lose the initiative.
The old waiting move.
He's making a waiting move, improving his position, but I feel like Sagar has to start playing quickly. The position is so solid that it's very hard. It's going to be very hard for him to find a weakness in White's campus. But if he can put pressure on the clock, that's where he can get his chances. I think the best strategy for Sagar is just blitz out his moves from now on.
Okay. So asking for that change of pace, change the character of the game, if you will.
Exactly.
I think the character of the crowd has changed. They're rooting just nonstop now. Lots of Levy fans here. I've heard a sprinkling of Sagar Shah fans here, but he's a beloved figure in the chess world, and that's not an angle you see very often with him because he's not that often found at the board.
No, definitely. And he's somewhat of a soft-spoken guy.
I mean, both these players, look at him. Levy showing a heart to the crowd there. It's so hard to not like these players. They're so lovable. They're doing so much for the chess game, and I'm so happy that we are able to see both of them play in front of each other, in front of such a big crowd.
Is that not the coolest thing ever? We got signs in the audiences as well. I mean, I would have thought maybe second, third event, people would, now get the idea. I can bring in noisemakers. We got it, event 1. Let's go.
These are softball.
Yeah, they're thinking 25 moves ahead right now. Chess fans are amazing fans. And I do love the way that this crowd here in particular has really accepted that role. I think there's a question when it comes to the ingrained etiquette of chess and the long history of chess. Would it have taken more time, for people to kind of, it's okay that we get loud? And I feel like this crowd here has proven, right out the gate, we're going for it.
And they're like, we can be really loud. And I love that the whole Indian team is still sitting there. They're still trying to root for their teammates. Even though the match has been won by Team USA, the Indian team still showing great camaraderie.
And that's what you need. Keep your spirits up. Yes, you can't necessarily get the victory. The great news is this is an exhibition show match, right? There are no rating points on the line. So at the end of the day, the goal here is to put on a show and have a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, every single match is intrigue just because the overall score is in USA's favor. And wow, this move just played by Sagar. He's like, get those queens off the board.
Take my damn queen.
Stop running away. And the question, I think, now is, will Levy finally acquiesce, or is he going to keep running?
How often do you see 4 pieces stacked like that on the A file, of all things?
I'm actually thinking whether Levy will go for a repetition. He'll take the queen back. Sagar will attack the queen again, and maybe a draw.
They might want to play some more chess, I kind of feel like these guys would be willing to play some more chess.
I think Levy knows what the people want.
Yeah.
He knows that they want to see these two stretch to the limit, playing quickly from the start, because this has been a methodical game. And you asked about the AFA. Has it been this clock before? The famous Kasparov-Karpov game.
Okay.
With the whole A file was with pieces on it. So it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, great players, clearly.
Yeah, and you'll probably see it happen more in formats like this, again, where in most cases, you're not going to find your way to a draw unless, of course, these guys with the threefold repetition decide that they want to go.
He goes back with the queen, and he's a smile on his face. Queen B6! Queen B6!
Well, is that,
He's asking the crowd whether he should go for the draw or no.
He's going to have a conversation with them. All right. I don't know what he's learned from that back and forth, but
I think he's learned that Sagar's ready. He's every bit up to the task. He says, you're not the only content creator here. You're not the only international master at this board. I can play your game. I'm not afraid.
Full authority. Let's go for the draw. Bring it back.
Will they claim? Will he claim?
And
press the button.
Press the button.
Press the damn button, Sagar Bhai.
And he's just pretending right now.
Yeah.
He knows he's going to take this draw.
Milk it. Milk it a bit. Milk it a bit.
And he can go down to 1 second on the clock because it's the third time the position has happened. For everyone who's not so familiar with all the rules of chess, that the same position occurs 3 times as it just has. The game concludes with a draw. Let's see the claim take place now.
There it is. Claim on the screens. So with that, Levy has made the claim, calling the threefold repetition. We go to our referee, Aris.
Can you check?
If you want, or you're going to go for it anyway?
No, I just want to know if it's a draw or when I make the move, it's a draw.
Okay. I think it's when he makes the move, but... Leonard, can you check that for me? The play is under review.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Leonard, do you have a draw? Okay. I got it. Thank you. We have a draw. Next game, 5 minutes.
Draw.
And there you have it. The claim has been made. The referee has laid his decree. It is officially a draw.
I wonder if some of the fans are not aware that they're about to reset the pieces and go again, because I hear some booing, which is a bit surprising.
You know, maybe some people just wanted Levy to throw the hammer down or something like that. You know, this is the idea of sport. Some people aren't going to like the play that you make, but the reality is 5 minutes now, and our first opportunity for competitors to go back to the huddle and have a discussion. What do I do now? And a reminder, you can't play with the same first move. Now it might be a benefit that Levy started with F4 of all things, because great, I don't have to play that again.
I don't have to play that again. Actually, Levy managed to get a great position from the opening. So I think Sagar should be happy that he escaped with a draw. Now, with 5 minutes on the clock, both players are really need to speed up. And I think it's all going to come down to who's going to be the faster player.
Yeah, talk to me about that switch of gears. That's a difficult thing to do, to from the outset, reorient yourself to having half the amount of time.
It's difficult, and it happens all the time. I mean, Fabiano Caruana just won the Grand Chess Tour, and he was going from rapid to blitz. And for Levy and Sagar right now, they need to move more quickly in the opening. They were very methodical in this game. They were both fine. They were kind of, lulling the crowd and us to be certain, that they would be okay with the draw. But I don't think they want to play bullet chess. I think that's a little bit too extreme for them both.
Okay, so just the one. Now somebody's got to find a victory. If you are on the side of Team India, that's a difficult huddle to necessarily hold because you don't know what the first move will be.
Chess and play it quickly.
Okay, so by all accounts, I think for both of you, it's less about the technicalities of the chess. It's more about the mindset of the players coming in. Eris, our referee, has given the okay for the game to start. Levy back on the white side of the board as he is the home player in this matchup. And away we go into a 5-5 time control.
E4, E5, we're actually getting very principled chess from both the players.
Yeah, now that I said that they should play normal chess, I wish they went for something a little bit more random. But we do have what's called the Scotch game played pawn to d4, and after the swap of pieces, we can see that there are some threats, right? That knight can be captured. Both knights are staring at each other, but for the time being, everything is well defended.
Sagar is taking his time on the third move, which shows that he has not predicted this, he was not anticipating it, and Levy's like, yep, I made a good choice in the opening. Bishop to b4 check.
Good choice from Sagar. It's not the most common line. It's becoming increasingly popular. You see him laughing. He's like, you don't know this, buddy.
Well, and really, there's three ways to respond to this, right? The knight can come out and block, the pawn can move forward, or the bishop can come out and block as well, right? Offering the trade.
Yeah, and even the bishop here is available. It looks like a rough move because the knight would have been hanging, but it actually tactically was sound. It's a good call dash. And that bishop, it says, all right, you attack me, I'll move back. I think that Levy should continue with his normal development, but I feel like Sagar actually knows more than he initially let off.
I mean, if you think about it, he allowed this move pawn to c3 for free for white, but now the point is that the white knight on b1 does no longer have the square on c3 to jump to.
That's a good point. It's going to be more difficult to develop that knight or take more time to get it to a square that feels impactful and useful. But that is 3 bishop moves in a row there for Sagar Shah. And typically, again, at my level of play, when I'm looking at getting better, it's an often repeated thing. Early in the game, development is more important, and what hinders that is having to move the same piece multiple times. I've effectively given you 3 moves to develop, and even still, only 2 of my minor pieces are out on the board.
When you have millions of subscribers on YouTube, you can get away with breaking principles. You want. That's actually what they say. It's not, learn enough and then you can get rid of them. It's just get all those YouTube subscribers. But in all seriousness, what Harshit said was a really good point. He provoked this move c2 to c3 to take away that knight's access, so white cannot as easily develop. Black is going to try to develop on the king side of the castle, like knight f6, immediately putting pressure on the center. And I think Sagar really is playing nicely, and I truly believe that he tricked Levy a little bit.
Ooh.
He acted like he didn't know what to do in the Scotch, but he seems quite booked up.
He seems quite booked up, and look at the bar, look at the clock. Both favoring black right now. Sagar has taken the initiative on the board, a minute lead on the clock. I have a feeling that Sagar is going to win this game.
Oh, wow, calling it already, because from where I stand, again, feels equal. There's so many pieces on the board. it doesn't actually, in the end, feel like anyone's advantage. So what do you like so much about it? Is it just your perception that he has more knowledge of the position, so you have confidence? Or you actually like the position?
I just like Sagar.
Okay. That's a good enough reason for me, if I'm being honest. I like him too. I like them both.
But that's the problem, is everybody likes him. So, like, that means that every game he plays, he should be doing well.
Yeah.
So I second what Harshit is saying, because I know that in all seriousness, he's looking at this position like, that's a tall pawn. That bishop on f3, it's defending, it's not aggressive. Bishops love open space and open diagonals. And for Sagar, he can go right after that bishop. But we keep talking about the bishop pair, the two bishops advantage. He can get that right now.
And would you be considering this move pawn to d5 as black just breaking in the center, trying to open up that bishop on c8? Do you think Robert Sagar is considering this move right now, pawn to d5?
He'd be a braver man than I, and I think that Harshit, you're suggesting some great moves. d5, it looks risky because you will allow white to take this knight on c6, but no, he says, not in this game. Double pawns, I actually find them quite bad in blitz chess. And pawn structure is often overrated, but in blitz chess in particular, you start worrying with the long-term issues. Pass pawns, not easy to obtain when you have double pawns. They also, pawn's best friend is another pawn. You want to protect with pawns, not have them stacked in front of each other.
That's interesting. That almost goes counter to what I maybe would have thought. I would have thought, to a degree, in the faster time controls, you could take, more risks or have maybe quote-unquote worse positions because everybody's moving with imperfect knowledge and not enough time to calculate. But in this case, you're saying, no, that's absolutely okay.
I would say dynamic risks are often great in blitz chess, but static weaknesses, that's where the struggle occurs.
Gotcha. Okay, well, so can we create those static weaknesses? That becomes the question here for Sagar Shah. Still trying to get a point on the board for Team India as we're in our second bout between him and Levy Rozman. 3 minutes on the clock here for Sagar. Blitzes out a move.
d5, the pawn break in the center that we were talking about, he goes for it. And he also always has the ability to take that, chop that bishop on f3 when he wants, getting that strategic advantage of bishop pair.
Is that starting to feel like the face of regret there on Levy? Time is starting to slip away. Almost half of a bank to deal with of his opponent. And you can kind of see it. I don't know if I'm in a comfortable position anymore.
Yeah, it's all funny when you're riling the audience up, but the jokes are gone. Sagar is like, I'm going to take you down. And look at this. First the D pawn, now the C pawn, attacking a knight in the center. And white center is on the verge of collapsing if he's not careful.
It's all about who gets the last laugh. Sagar very serious right now. Look at the focus. Look at that intensity with which he's calculating in this position.
The time is going to become an issue here for Levy now. Again, just a quick reminder for everybody. Once they dip below 1 minute, you will get 1 second increment per move that you make, up until the point where you go back over a minute. But that is going to give Levy at least something to fall back on in terms of not losing too much on time. Still an opportunity to be flagged, though.
That's not what you see in everyday tournaments. The ability to give increment only once someone is below a certain time quantity. That's an awesome addition to this event.
And that's thanks to Tag Heuer, one of our incredible partners who had to develop that new clock and timepiece in order to effectively deliver us a tournament like this.
Absolutely. Look at the position now. The two knights on d2 and c2. It's been a long time since I've seen two knights next to each other on d2 and c2.
Not what you advise for your students. And look at this. He's saying, yeah, you have these really passive knights. I'm going to press forward. And that bishop that made so many turns, it's about to stare towards the white king. And look at the smile, that wry smile on Sagar's face.
Oh, shoes on the other foot there. Levy entertained the idea of a draw when maybe he could have reached for more in game one, and that decision might come back to bite him on the tail of trying to be the showman that he always is.
Coulda, woulda, definitely shoulda, because Levy right now is in huge trouble on the clock. He has the worst position over the board. I really like his last move, though, because Harshit was correct to criticize those knights that were just sitting next to each other. That knight would like to pile pressure on a pinned piece, everybody. That knight on f6 cannot move without black losing the queen behind him.
Yeah, I mean, he has found a great resource to try and reroute this knight to d5, as you mentioned there, Robert. What does black do now? I like this move, bishop to e6. I want to stop that knight on b4 to come into d5 and put pressure on my knight on f6. Bishop to e6 is my prediction.
And
he goes
he'll
for
find it.
Yeah.
Levy, though, still says, I'm happy to centralize my knight, but this does give, rather, the opportunity for a trade of minor pieces in the center of the board. It would be bishop for knight.
They're not very stressed. But look at Levy. His heart is red, which means he's stressed right now.
Yeah, so maybe lower heartbeats per minute, but ultimately feeling the pressure at the moment just a little bit more. There it goes. We're going to have the knight fall away. Would expect the capture back, logically. Why are we thinking?
It's a good question, whether to take the knight on f6 first or take the bishop right away. He takes the bishop, and now for Sagar, he's got a number of options. This pin is really annoying. I would try to break the pin either by pushing my pawn to attack the bishop or bring my queen up. Either way, this pawn on d5, it's worse than its counterpart on d4.
Guys, it's bullet chess now. Let's go.
That's right. Just dipping under a minute himself here, Sagar. So each will get a second back per move that they make. But the red is on the clock, and that's when he might see the heart rates change. And things are going to start to pick up pace.
And there was a bit of emphasis with that capture. Sagar took the bishop, and he kind of screwed that knight in there. And here goes the d5 pawn. So right now, black is up a pawn. But look at the shattered king side, the weak squares. Right in front of double pawns is a square that white can take.
At one point, there was a minute-and-a-half advantage all the way over in Sagar's camp. Now it's only down to about 15 seconds between them. So things are getting a little bit tighter. And ultimately, Levy is still fighting.
He's fighting, but he has 20 seconds on his clock right now. 20 seconds on his clock. He goes queen to b5. He's trying to remaneuver the queen to the king side, to the h5 square right now. And look at both of them. They're nervous. I can sense it.
Yeah, their entire body language has changed. They're no longer making any references to the crowd.
But we could see a repetition again, and the crowd wants it, I think. If the queen goes back and forth, we may get to a shootout.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. Sagar refuses. He says, no, I have a win here. I can find it. I can find it. That's his hope.
20 seconds each. Queen b5. Pawn to d3. No, he goes queen to c6.
I think there's nerves here. And look at the queen. It swings over. If the knight can join the party, the black king's in danger. There is one check and one check away, but the black rook now is an open file to attack with.
Yeah, that's a grimace. Levy doesn't love his position right now, but he's still going to fight. Down below 10 seconds is he. Only 7 to work with. Back over to Sagar here. How can he put the finishing touches on this game?
And you see Sagar tap the table a little bit. He's really nervous. Capture. What's going on? The pieces are flying.
Okay, a bit of chaos on the board. Wait,
f6 was hanging. The pawn was hanging, but no time.
It was missed. No time to find it.
And it's hanging again.
Pieces are flying off the board.
Too much pressure.
But both sides are in a tough spot because both kings are in danger.
And we're in flagging territory. We've already seen one game decided by a flag. Wait.
What?
Give him 15 seconds extra.
The ref. The ref has stepped in.
Next,
15 seconds awarded to Levy, likely because of that mix-up of pieces. It ate into Levy's time. That is a part of the rule set here. The referee has the ability to give 15 seconds to a player if their time was chewed into due to the play of another person. So Sagar here now with only 1 second to go. He's got to make a move, and he does.
All the pieces drop, and Levy's completely winning.
And Levy's winning.
Oh, my goodness.
It's over.
In the end, the winner comes through. Wow.
What a game.
Time in the end will be the decider, Levy Rozman. They brought us to a second game.